I'm on the line with us is David Neiwert. He is an investigative journalist with Daily Kos, the author of Red Pill, Blue Pill, How to Counteract the Conspiracy Theories That Are Killing Us, and another book, Alt America, The Rise of the Radical Right in the Age of Trump, dailykos.com or dneiwert, Neiwert.blogspot.com, and David Neiwert, or at Daily Kos on Twitter. David, welcome to the program. Thank you for this extraordinary piece about the far-right vigilantes and their symbiotic relationship with basically, I believe this is the Border Patrol or ICE or both. Tell us about this.
Well, so these border vigilantes, which are basically fundamentally a patriot movement sort of thing, have been around for quite a long time, since around early 2000, and a lot of folks remember, hopefully, the Minutemen, which was one of the sort of original versions of these, were very much also representatives of the patriot movement. And even back in 2005, which is when the Minutemen were at their peak, it was fairly clear for those of us who were down on the border reporting on this that the Border Patrol had a very friendly relationship with these folks. They definitely looked the other way whenever they were doing their thing, and we're all too happy to have them turn in immigrants for them to pick up and haul off to the cooler. But now it's really become kind of explicit, and this is something that actually Southern Poverty Law Center uncovered. Freddie Cruz, their reporter, did an excellent piece talking, really showing how the Border Patrol just explicitly has a relationship with these guys, and they are very friendly, even though some of them, a lot of them, like the guys in down near El Paso on the New Mexico border last year, who were pulling aside immigrants and detaining them, wound up in prison because they were toting weapons and representing themselves as border patrolmen.
Now, if you read any history of the United States from the failure of Reconstruction with the election of 1876 right up to the 1960s, what you find is that in many parts of the country, particularly in the South, there was a symbiotic relationship between Klan members and local police. And very often what happened was the Klan members would do the things that the police could not do under cover of law. They would harass people, they would torture people, they would kill people, they would terrorize people. And then the police would come in and kind of clean up after the fact and provide a legal patina to it and maybe even cover it up. This is the main reason why historically in America we have looked askance, shall we say. We have viewed poorly professional police agencies aligning themselves with unprofessional civilian paramilitary groups. Is that same kind of dynamic what's happening down at the border?
Well, it's happening not just at the border, of course, but I think in police departments across the nation. And of course, this gets into another area that I cover, which is their dealings with the Proud Boys and these far-right street brawlers. Police are very friendly. But yeah, the Border Patrol in particular has become fundamentally a rogue, out-of-control law enforcement agency. They are, ridiculously overfunded, ridiculously overstaffed, and they have a huge amount of power. And basically, they feel a great amount of impunity. Mind you, this Border Patrol also is very, very closely aligned with Donald Trump. The Border Patrol Union was rabidly pro-Trump. I'm almost surprised they haven't taken to claiming that Biden cheated to win the election, but they are, they of course immediately jumped on Joe Biden as president and claimed that they were part of the faction that was claiming that Biden was messing up on the border and was, creating a crisis on the border, which of course was actually ridiculously overrated.
Yeah.
But yeah,
well, I recall too, David, that correct me if I'm wrong on this, but my recollection is that when Trump sent federal troops into Portland, and also some of the stuff around Washington D.C., like clearing Lafayette Square, that he was using Border Patrol agents basically as his own private shock, stormtroopers, his own little SS cadre. Am I misremembering that?
Not quite. They're actually private contractors for the DHS, which of course CBP is part of, and they had traditionally done the contract work with Border Patrol. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what do we? Is the Biden administration taking any of this seriously, or are they just hands off on this?
Right now, it's hard to tell. I mean, supposedly there's this initiative underway to weed the extremists out of the ranks of law enforcement, both in the, on the federal level as well as and in the military, right? But there's been a tremendous amount of pushback on it. A lot of claims that they are making, that it's politically biased stuff, and the problem is that they, nobody wants to really fess up to the real dynamic that's going on here, which is that so many of these border patrolmen, as well as I think so many policemen, have become themselves politicized over the last 10 years, and not just politicized but radicalized. A lot of them now believe these right-wing conspiracy theories. A lot of them believe Donald Trump's disinformation. And, I think that when you have that situation, in law enforcement, it's really a problem because, you've got at least half of the population that they are fundamentally biased against.
Yeah. Yeah, we used to have Sheriff Mack used to come on this. Richard Mack used to come on our program
I know
years
Richard
ago.
Mack.
Yeah, and he was one of the Oath Keepers. He was one of the big guys in the Oath Keepers, and they would talk about we don't recognize the federal government, blah blah blah. Although we're keeping the oath, but he described to us a decade ago on this program in detail how they were infiltrating police departments all over the United States and other military organizations, the Border Patrol, right. the various state militias,
right.
And it's like it kind of created a perfect storm when Trump came into office. Is there anything that individual citizens, the people who are listening or watching this program right now, can do to make their voices heard about their disgust of about this affiliation between, right-wing white supremacist paramilitary groups and the Border Patrol?
Well, I will say that there is a ridiculous amount of tolerance in the voting public for sheriffs who are CSPOA members. That's Richard Mack's organization, the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association. Right. And there's a ridiculous amount of tolerance for it. It's like people just go kind of shrug and say, oh, it's constitutional. It's all wrapped in a flag. Must be okay. Right. But it's not okay. CSPOA is an extremely radical organization that fundamentally tells sheriffs that they are laws unto themselves.
I know. It's been a long time since we had Richard on because it was over the top.
Government, yeah. And of course the Oath Keepers and, CSPOA philosophy is what the Oath Keepers use. Of course, that's Stuart Rhodes' organization. Right. And as we know, the Oath Keepers played a central role in the January 6th insurrection. Right. And Stuart Rhodes is very much a target of federal prosecutors right now, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Are there any federal prosecutors who are looking at this thing, at this association going on down at the border?
No, I don't think there is. That's why I think Haywatch's reporting is so valuable.
Yeah.
Because they really substantiated what we've long suspected.
Yeah.
That, there was this cozy relationship going on. And, and now it just seems like, post-Trump or even during the Trump years, everything just went mask off. Everybody's just said, oh, I don't have to put up the pretense of plausible deniability anymore.
Right.
We'll just go ahead and say, yeah, we love the border militias, border vigilantes. They're great. They're our friends. But that's pretty much how they treat them.
We have a lot of work to do. David Neiwert, dailycoz.com, DNEIWERT.blogspot.com, on Twitter, David Neiwert, and at Daily Coz as well.